the automation of operations and production, and then finance, and then human resource, and now there is a wonderful opportunity for IT to get into marketing because this is the last battleground. Primarily because this is the most difficult battleground for IT because it involves creativity, it involves people with creativity, it involves money, and our kind of logic from IT has to bring all this together. Okay, so that's why it's quite a challenge. If you've noticed, MarTech, we call it marketing technology or MarTech, just came out very recent. So I'm enjoining all you guys, admins, developers, come to marketing automation. The third reason that IT should bother about is that marketing is the most exciting business function. Marketing, is in charge of influencing and convincing people to give their most coveted possession, which is their money, and really feel happy about it. Most of my friends from IT kind of has a difficulty grasping that, but that's what we do in marketing. We ask people for their money, and then these people, when they give us their money, they're really happy about it. Okay? So the last reason, for IT people to join us in marketing or to take on marketing automation projects is this. Marketing needs you. Marketing needs IT. Okay, so what is marketing really? Let me just share with you, that the best way to look at marketing is to remember your chief marketing officer or your VP for marketing or your director for marketing. If you could look at the left of the slide that I'm showing you, there are two things that we are really looking for in a marketing person. Somebody with vision and somebody with mission. Vision is the ability to see the full market. Okay, so that's the business environment at large. Okay, the industry that your company belongs to, the potential buyers, practically market, and then customer. Okay. And having this vision, being able to see this market, your marketer should be able to engage this market. And it uses four things, which we call the marketing mix, which I will explain to you later. To those who are using Salesforce, you know that Salesforce, it looks at, or it is a tool, a marketing tool that looks at potential buyers, has a wonderful perspective about current customers, and it's used in the promotions area. All right. So before I continue, is it okay if I pause for a while and maybe ask some questions from the audience? Okay. All right. Here we go.
Go ahead, Marco.
Hi, Aaron. Okay, any questions so far from our audience? Nothing? Nada? All right, I'll jump into the last part of my presentation, okay? Share my screen and start broadcasting for you. There you go. So when I say product, we're in the topic of what is market. So when you say product, your marketers, they are the ones who identify products or services that will fit different customers, or that will be offered by the company to different customers. The other one is price. Marketer's job is to make sure that the price is perfect. Right? And we do this by looking at our customers, by getting to know them, because each customer will have a relative perception of the value of one product. For example, okay, the Salesforce Pardot. Okay. How much is Pardot? Each one of you or your customers will have a different perspective about that. And marketing and sales, their job is to make sure that that particular perspective is corrected, and of course the company makes money. Okay. Second to the last of the marketing mix, I am picking out here a page from my experience with De La Salle College of St. All right. So when I became its marketing director, I looked at its promotions mix and said, okay, what marketing activities is De La Salle doing against a list? So this is two slides. All right. It's almost comprehensive list of the marketing activities that a company would do. And the green ones are the ones that De La Salle is already doing. The black ones, they're not doing this one. So here you go. Let me just pinpoint that Salesforce Pardot, okay, is used at this part of the marketing mix. Here you go. Yeah, let me just play that for you. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is that marketing, all right, is doing a lot of activities, and we need people from IT, right, to help us with all these activities. And how do we do that? For example, if we do an advertisement PR, okay, on a broadsheet newspaper, we know that this particular ad should bring our potential customers or buyers to a website. It should bring us to Pardot. Okay? That's because we want to be able to measure how good this ad is. If we had a rewards program, we need an IT background for this one, or an IT infrastructure behind it. We need Pardot perhaps to be able to tell us if what we are offering to our prospective clients or to our clients is good for them. We want to understand how they are moving within the site, and of course we wanted their information. This if we were partners with a credit card, then all the more we need a fantastic IT infrastructure behind us. Okay, finally, your marketers are in charge of what we call a place or a channel of business. This one I've done I was part of a team that did this for Hyundai when we changed the bad image of our dealerships into a modern premium experience. So basically, what I'm saying here is that we marketers have the marketing mix, and we are in charge basically of making a fantastic customer experience. And here is where Salesforce comes into play. We need you guys because we're the ones doing the marketing thing, or we're doing the activities, but we need you. We need a fantastic IT infrastructure behind us. Okay? You know what? Let me my experience with in academia, of course, from the marketing perspective, I'm very much interested on what makes students enjoy college or what makes them come to college. So we were trying to pin down what this kind of student experience should be. But then again, I was not talking to Salesforce at that time, so we had a hard time figuring out lots of marketing activities for them. Well, there. So I guess this is my last slide, right? And I just wanted to show you that a very simple framework of where a lot of companies are going to right now. They want to have a digital campaign, or they want to be in digital, right? And they want to create it and they want to deliver it. But most companies don't have, okay, the IT experience that will make that possible, or will make that more easier executed. Okay, so with that, I end my presentation. Okay, and I'm going to stop sharing and go back to you guys for your questions if you have some questions.
Maybe the guys are still a bit shy to ask their questions, but I just would like to relay a comment here of one person in the audience saying, "Ang ganda ng discussion. The discussion is very good, and he really appreciates the discussion of all this marketing stuff. So thank you, guys. We are welcoming your questions. So and we'll be starting with the next part. If you don't have any questions, by the way, please stick around. Ash?
All right, so all right, guys. So, anyone has any questions?
Ash, I have a question. I'm not sure if this is really a good question though, but yeah, I'll try.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. For Sir Marco, is it really the ROI that's what we call this hindering some of the future plans for marketing? Because I know for a fact that if you are going to invest for a marketing tool, it will require amount of money, right? So is it really the ROI that's blocking sometimes? Because I had this experience way back before, so I was just kind of concerned because the upper management might want to consider, okay, this is not working, so can we just move along to another process? The marketing strategy is not working, so I hope I can get some things that I can say to the upper management if in case I'll stumble to that kind of situation.
Yeah, Glenn, that is a fantastic question. And I'll be honest with you, yes, it's an ROI question. At the end of the day, it's an ROI question. However, the ROI question is very relevant pre-pandemic. Okay? But at this time, all companies have to go digital. Otherwise, they won't be able to reach their customers, especially if they are brick and mortar, right? And especially if they're just relying on their salespeople to push sales without insights behind it, without insights behind their website. No, it's not gonna happen. So your question of ROI, basically, yes, it's relevant before, but now, I guess if you compute for ROI now in terms of their investment on marketing, ROI should be faster because primarily their market would be on digital. So I think yes, Glenn, that is a question, and for IT people, the reason why you have to partner with marketing is because marketing can be able to help you out with the computation for the ROI. Okay, so you really have to be in tandem with them. Glenn, did I answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Sir Marco.
Thank you, Sir Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn. Any other questions? All right. Thank you. If not, thank you so much, Marco, for that
Thanks,
wonderful
Ashley.
presentation. All right, we'll be proceeding with our next speaker. So she is currently the solution architect at Qualified, and Salesforce Marketing Champion. And if you have already attended virtual meetings coming from other countries for Pardot, she has been consistently a speaker. So let's welcome Jennifer Snyder. Hi, Jen.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having me today. I appreciate it. All right. Well, let's dive right into our presentation. Let's see here. This presentation it's fantastic that Marco and I are put together during the same hour. You're going to see a lot of the same concepts that you saw with his presentation, but it's going to be coming from someone who's been ingrained in the Salesforce side of things. So we're going to be talking about the same concepts, but we'll look at a different perspective of them. Oops, just kidding. Here we go. All right, let's present. Okay, as I was introduced, my name is Jennifer Lynn Schneider, and today we're talking about how marketing isn't just marketing anymore. So one time I think most of us thought marketing was some pretty brochures, a slide deck, maybe some social media, but a lot of times marketing gets a bad rap for a bunch of people creating pretty things that no one else can use. Marketing has come a long way since then. So we're going to talk a little bit today about why it's important, again, for your IT team, your dev team, your sales team to be integrated into marketing. No longer is it a little silo activity that happens off to the side. And even more so now with the new technologies and tech stacks that are available, marketing has come a very long way. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share this deck at the end. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So any one of these little buttons you guys can click, connect with me. I'm just going to call out as well. I used to run a podcast called Pardot Life Hacks. I've since passed that along to a new young member who's up and coming, and she's a fantastic host. But please take a look at that. Take a look at the earlier episodes. Take a look at the new episodes. If you want to learn a little bit more about Pardot, if you want to understand the business process, and kind of get into the weeds, it's definitely a great place to go. So you can click on any of these links when you guys get this presentation after and use them. And of course, I will connect with anyone. So go ahead and connect with me. Would love to continue this conversation. So quick agenda today. Gave you my intro. We're going to talk about what is marketing automation. Why should I care? We're going to talk a little bit about why Pardot and Marketing Cloud. And at the end, we're just going to slightly touch on how to build an efficient marketing and sales tech stack. What are the things to think about when we're talking about marketing? And Einstein is here to help us along the way. So what is marketing automation? We touched a little bit earlier today on it, and I think sometimes we don't see the full picture. So on the left, we see Pardot. And we see that this is a system that is mostly known for email, but it does so much more. But first, I'm going to focus on the right hand of the screen and talk about just a couple of quick platforms and tactics that a lot of companies use. Think about your marketing. We have our website and our CMS. We have our digital marketing. We have virtual and live events, and you can see some of the top companies or tech stacks or products that our companies may use. We have enrichment tools. We have our conversational marketing or chat, or what I like to refer to as the fourth dimension of marketing automation. And that is, again, live interaction on your website. That's speed to lead. We have sales enablement tools and management tools. We have so much more. But today I wanted to show you some of those first things to think about. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of things to think about. They all have to connect. We need to align those teams, right? We can't be doing something on Google Analytics that's completely opposite than our virtual events, our sales enablement team, and our cadences of when we call and when we email. That should be tied in too. So all of these items can flow and take in information from Pardot. So you see our little arrows over here. All of the things that we do can flow into Pardot and flow back and forth. And of course, where do they all live? They all live and can live within the Salesforce ecosystem. So Pardot can push information into Salesforce, take information from all of our different platforms and tactics. So from an IT perspective, this is starting to make a little more sense to you maybe about why you should care. Think about your average marketer that's focused on email marketing, or your website team that's focused on creating landing pages and content. Or maybe you have a lot of virtual events. These folks might not have the background to understand how all of this can fit together. How do I get my registrant list or my form fill information into another system to be able to tell sales to follow up? That's a 3-step process. And that's where you guys come in. Marketing automation, think of it as a bridge. It's a bridge to your Salesforce of your customer's journey. Your customer came in on the website, they came from a Google paid ad, they attended a webinar, you filled out a form, your enrichment service knew they were from a certain location and filled in that field. Perhaps they went back to the website and we engaged with them. We got sales to talk to them right away. They didn't have to wait for someone to email them back. They were able to get in and make that decision right away. All of that information then maybe flowed to sales, in which a sales cadence was triggered and we picked up the phone. All those different pieces need to be able to talk to each other. So that's what gets us to our second slide. Why should I care? Well, for admins and developers, think about marketing automation as a tool to help you to make your team larger. Marketing automation has this fantastic power to create power users. We all come together, we get super excited, especially our Salesforce Ohana and all of our swag and our family. We get really, really passionate about what we do. So there's going to be some users or some folks inside of your organization that are going to have that passion too. So you in the IT department, you don't necessarily have to know everything about marketing. You don't have to know how every single tool works or understand the creative side of it. But start to develop a community of people that do have that passion. You can create those power users that are going to pick up on things that, hey, this isn't working, or this information isn't syncing. Can you help me? They almost become internal business analysts for you. We have a sales process and this person went here, but we lost them right here. I don't understand why we didn't get that information. Now we're talking your language. Now you can step in and say, oh, I know exactly why that didn't happen. We didn't map that field correctly. Now that might be a complete different jargon to a marketing person. What do you mean map the field correctly? What do you mean API call? I don't understand any of this. And you might say the same thing to the marketing person about brand and persona. And that's why you guys have to work together. And making that dynamic team is going to do one thing for the company. It's going to make them money. And when they make money, you make money. And it's also going to make an experience for that end user that's seamless. I want to be able to interact with your company, and I want you to understand where I've been. What have I done? I don't want to have to tell my story over and over again. Now, IT has been notoriously involved with support. We've done a lot of chat in the past. We've done a lot of support in the past. Think about your role in that feature of how you help bridge the gap there. It's very similar to what you would be doing for marketing. Another reason why you should care is it's going to automate the processes for you. A lot of things that you might do today are manual. There's just a lot of workarounds. We're still using legacy systems or pulling information from other systems and then putting it in here, or pulling things out into Excel and creating reports in an external system because we don't have a path where all of the information flows. That's where you guys come in. It's going to challenge you to always be learning. It's going to be a little uncomfortable. But remember, you don't have to be a marketer. Your job is to help the marketer understand or build how to get from A to B to C. So think about companies that you've worked with. An average SMB company, or even a startup or a smaller company, they're going to use on an average 7 to 15 different products just in their marketing tech stack. Think about that slide that we had earlier. I'm going to pop back for just a second. I just popped a couple of things off the top of my mind. This is a very basic marketing and sales tech stack. Now, when you start to work for large enterprise organizations, like when Marco was talking about 50 million and 1 billion, those companies, they're going to have 15 to 20 different products just within their marketing and sales tech stack. So think about 20 different products taking information from different sources. Your job is going to be to connect the dots. And one thing you probably all understand, can we say API connector user? Those are some of the things that you marketers are going to fall short. And even with Pardot, we have a connector user. We have syncing back and forth. We're on the Lightning platform. All of that is very new to your marketers. They're used to having their own little space that they can play in. And now they're being thrown into Salesforce. They're being thrown into a much more technical space that they might not feel comfortable in. So you as an IT person, you get to kind of hold their hand and be like, I've got you. We've got this. It's okay. At the same time, they're going to do the same to you. So it really is a team effort. Now, we may not have sales here on the call today, but I wanted to highlight why sales should care because, again, marketing is not a silo. We've been hearing that for probably a good 7 years now in all sorts of presentations. But sales has top of funnel. They have their business process, right? What is your lead to contact to account to an opportunity conversion process? What are the stages in your opportunity in Salesforce? All of those things are part of marketing as well. Things like, hey, if someone's in an open opportunity, I'm not going to market to them. I don't want to sound like I don't know who they are when we're about to close a deal. So we need to find a way to take that information from Salesforce and apply that to all of our different platforms to make sure that that digital ad doesn't go out to that person, that email doesn't go out, that when that person goes to our website, they have a different experience, right? Hey, John, I see we're in the middle of an opportunity together. You may not say that, but they might have a different experience on their website. You might offer them different content or treat them with white glove service because we're in the middle of an opportunity. We can't do those things as marketers unless we have you as IT helping us make the connections. Money talks, right? Money talks. When sales makes money, when your company makes money, we all make money. It's an excellent point that Marco brought up today, and I absolutely wholeheartedly support that. It's just the way of the world. But we want to find some enjoyment and passion in the process as well. But I'm just like everyone else. If you're going to give me a bonus for doing a certain thing, I'm going to hit that bonus. So while that might be the driver, think about the reason why we're doing it and what we're creating. We're creating a customer journey and we're connecting all the dots for our team. You know, Marco kind of touched on this about our virtual landscape, and I'm going to go ahead and read this. The virtual landscape of our world is changing. With that, our tactics have to change. How are you guys going to grab the 60 seconds you have with your audience that is engaged with your content, your ad, your website, your salesperson, especially if it's only digital? How are we going to do that? How are we going to make a connection when we don't get to see each other as often as we used to? Really going to have to depend on you as an IT person to help us connect the dots. So briefly, I'll tell you a little bit about my story and why Pardot, and we'll pop through a few of these things and we'll do some question and answers next. So why Pardot? What makes Pardot so special? I'll tell you a little bit of story about how I got started with Pardot. So back in 2009, I'm aging myself now. I was tasked, actually, it even starts earlier than that. So I actually started my career out in radio sales. I did radio commercials and I sold radio locally, and we started using the Salesforce platform. In fact, I was the only person that used the Salesforce platform. Let's just make that clear. I'm a little bit of a nerd, and I was really, really excited to dive in. And I thought, oh wow, this is fantastic! I can put all my information in these fields, and we were a very small company, so I had full admin access, as many small companies do. You have 10 admins, big no-no. But I was young and eager and passionate, and I said, "Hey, can I start creating reports? Can I start doing things?" So that was I was hooked after that. Um, then as my career started to grow, one of my first tasks in 2009 was to go to my very first Dreamforce. I was so excited. And I had to pick a marketing automation platform. I was standing up Salesforce and marketing automation for a company based out of Hyderabad, India called Noah Solutions and Noah Soft. One side of the house was a workforce optimization tool, one side was a call center. And so I went to Dreamforce and whew, that was pretty overwhelming. I was very junior. There were a lot of bells and whistles. There was Team Purple and their exact target was still a thing. Pardot was there. We had the old school Pardot logo. But as I went through all the demos and started listening to people and asking so many questions and being probably the most annoying person in the room, I chose Pardot for one reason and one reason only. And this reason has helped me escalate my career over the past 17 years. Pardot was the most integrated into the Salesforce platform. It was seamless. It made sense. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go with Pardot because it integrates the best, right? I knew even then how important it was when I capture information that it needs to get to my core CRM. And all of the other tools had very weak integrations at the time. We're only pushing this over and we can't pull this information in. And that's another factor to consider. I want to be able to utilize my CRM information and pull it to enrich a record or to have some type of activity or create a different experience for someone based on the data that I have. And Pardot was the deepest integration I thought possible. And this is before Salesforce bought Pardot. So, of course, as I continued on my journey, Salesforce ended up buying Pardot. I was like, I knew it. I knew it. No, it's pretty much luck. But it taught me a very valuable lesson. And we'll get to that. That's kind of jumping ahead to the marketing and sales tech stack advice. Follow the products that integrate or are built on the Salesforce platform. If you're going to be a lifer Salesforce Kool-Aid drinker like me, that is what you're going to want to do. No matter how much we say, oh, you should have bought this, or why didn't you buy this? And why don't you integrate with this? We can fight with Salesforce forever. Or you can say, all right, these are the closest tools to Salesforce. They're built on the platform. They have the best integration. I might not like them 100%. They might be clunky, but they're supported by Salesforce, and I'm going to learn them and support them too. That might not be the path for you, but it was the path for me, and it's done very well for me. There's a ton of other paths. You can definitely go outside of the Salesforce world and be extremely successful. But I think the core lesson here is whatever platform you choose to be super excited and passionate about, understand what plugs in the best and follow those products. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the features about why, and when we talk about integration, like what does that mean, Jen? So if you are not familiar, Pardot is now, they were a separate tool. They were bought by Salesforce, and now it's being kind of reconfigured and rebuilt on top of the Salesforce platform. And one of the first things that they did was create what's called the Pardot Lightning app. That allows us to go to our app picker. For you admins in here, you can go to your app picker, pick Pardot Lightning app. You've got your tabs, but you also can customize them. So I can bring in leads, accounts, opportunities, reports, dashboards, analytics, any other tools that we're utilizing, managed packages that we have, and we can work from one screen all day long. Beautiful. You also have the power of Einstein. There's Pardot Einstein insights, campaign insights. So if you remember the diagram we looked at in the very beginning of the presentation about all that information coming in from these different products and pushing back and forth, Einstein now starts to be able to take all that information and starts to give you AI insights about, hey, these people from this location had a similar email that was sent, and it starts to pick up on some of the consistent behavior and starts to give your sales and marketing teams suggestions on what to do next. If you put John in this engagement studio program, most leads that have this information have turned into an opportunity, things like that. The other platforms don't integrate like that with Salesforce. So there's another benefit as well. Again, staying on platform, you're going to be able to scale much faster with all of the new features as long as you're staying declarative. That's a whole nother session. All right. The next are just the extras, the sprinkles on the cupcake, if you will, the things that get us really excited. B2BMA, B2BMA Plus, Einstein Analytics, now known as Tableau CRM, but doesn't have any Tableau in it. Not confusing at all. Those are our reporting functionality. So one thing that Pardot does that you cannot do with another marketing automation tool because of its deep integration is reporting. You can start to see the full cycle. They came in on the website, they had these activities, then it flows right into Salesforce. Here's what sales did in outreach. Now we started in opportunity, we have a sale one, and then maybe we even have an onboarding process. All of that is now contained in one stream, and we can actually look at the entire funnel. It's easier said than done. And if your Salesforce is a bit of a mess and there's a lot of custom code, it's not going to be as easy as I just said that in one sentence. But remember, the possibility is there. And that's why getting involved in these tools and understanding how they connect, you will be the hero of the organization. If you can connect all the information from these other platforms into Salesforce and help create a report or just help bring that information so someone else can create reports, you will be that hero. We also have some Salesforce Lightning Core reporting. So with Pardot, we have 5 new custom report types, and they're called engagement report types. So an email, a form, a marketing link, or a custom redirect, all of these things are now objects inside Salesforce. I know, right? What? Yeah, they're objects, and they live and they're related to the campaign. We've also seen some new releases with the new email builder, which allows you to build an email in Salesforce, and you can use it in Pardot and Sales and Marketing Cloud. So if you pay attention to what Salesforce is doing, they're bringing their core products together, and they're calling it 360. They're starting to merge things together so that they're easier to use, and you have one location. You live in Salesforce all the time. It's really important to pick some of your favorite products that your company is involved in and be that spearheader from an IT perspective of, hey, we really want this product. And to your point, talking about ROI, we need to figure out ROI. Well, I would probably choose the product that allows me to report inside my core Salesforce. That's going to be the first place that I'm going to go to for reporting. Don't want to have to remove it all and put it in a BI tool, which may or may not be accurate because I can create a pretty graph with that information and it may not actually be what's happening. So think about that. And then the last piece of advice I have for you guys, for you Salesforce gurus out there, is if you're not familiar with the campaign object, get obsessed about it. Any of you that might know me or checked out my Pardot Life Hacks, you know that I am absolutely obsessed about the campaign object. Because for me, being a solution architect, that is the way that I connect everything. The campaign object is related to campaign members. Campaign members are both leads and contacts. Obviously, contacts are related to accounts and opportunities, but there's always such a gap of like, how do we connect our lead information with everything else we have? And that campaign member object is so, so important. There's all sorts of fun tools out there. There's fuzzy matching now, lead to account matching. There's all sorts of things to get you distracted. But understand that the campaign object, I think of it as the golden nucleus of all things. It sits in the center of the declarative platform and allows information to come from various sources. You'll also find out that most marketing automation, as well as all those tech stack items we looked at, will integrate directly with your campaign object. So bringing those things into campaigns, Pardot now has what we call connected campaigns. So they're not separate. Pardot works off of Salesforce campaigns. So understand campaign hierarchy, understand how to integrate and use API calls to bring it right into the campaign and let the campaign disperse it, and then create your reporting. As you can see, I could talk about that for about 5 hours. So I will stop now. But I wanted to tell you my story and how I kind of slowly came up through the ecosystem. And again, my focus is look at the products that Salesforce is behind and understand those that are built on the platform or have the deepest integration, which is why I went to Qualified, because it has the same type of principle. It's built on the Salesforce platform. It has the absolute deepest integration for marketing and sales. And since we're moving into that digital area, in that era, even more so now, we have to get on our website and start talking to people. So conversational marketing allows you to do that. So I yabbered on for quite a while, gave you guys a ton of insight and information, but I would love to take some of your questions. If you don't feel comfortable talking, throw some in the chat. But yeah, let's have a conversation.
All right. The floor is now open for questions. Anyone has any question?
Oh, I see
We
one in
do
the
have
chat
one
here.
for Roshan.
Yeah. So the question is, I want to ask, what is the ideal timeline or how long we will see the effect of Pardot or other marketing apps, and how to explain them once they are not seeming affecting sales yet? Okay, I think I understand. So basically, how long does it take after you purchase Pardot to see the results of your efforts? Does that correlate a little bit? Is that what you're asking? Okay, perfect. So when I did some implementations in the past, we can get people can get you up and running. So I think there's some vocabulary here. There's a difference between an implementation and then an optimization, right? So you can get up and running with Pardot within 30 days. But I would say it would take about 3 months of consistent use to collect data to be able to start reporting. And then, and some of that reporting will give you some ROI. So we're going to have to enable that campaign influence object. We're going to have to make sure we're declarative, that we didn't create a custom lead object. Stop creating custom objects that replace declarative objects. Please stop doing it. So if everything is pretty much set within 3 months, you can get some initial reporting. I mean, you can create a report on day one, right? But I think when you want to look at trends and how things are doing, 3 months is a nice benchmark. 6 months after that, you should have some real data, and you'll probably uncover a ton of issues. So it's important to understand that. By 6 months, you're going to say, this isn't flowing with my business process. Marketing needs to do some different things. We can't just email a bunch of people. How do we get our digital marketing to flow through to Pardot? How do we get, let's make sure our webinars are set up. So I think by the 6-month mark, you're looking at all of your other tech stack programs and you're finding ways to flow them through Pardot and into Salesforce. And by then, you're going to start to see some ROI on all of your marketing efforts. So Pardot can be the gateway to pushing information into Salesforce to see how your entire initiative or your entire company is doing. But that's probably a good timeline to put in your mind. And when you're talking to executives, it's very important to position it to them that way. We're gonna get up and running in 30 days. At 3 months, we're gonna report on the basics of how the tool is doing. And then between 3 to 6 months, we're gonna bring in IT. So you guys, we're gonna bring in sales, we're gonna bring in operations, and we're gonna find out ways that we can push more information. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is people using the tool at like 25%. They just use it as an email spam tool. That's not what it's meant to do. So make sure that you're looking at all the features and functionality, that you're using landing pages, that you're integrating all of the different things that you have inside of the tool.
Thank you, Miss Jem.
Thank you. Any other questions, guys? Here we go. How would you compare Pardot to Active Campaign from a campaign management standpoint? Yeah, great tool. I've actually, I think it's a Active Campaign is a great tool to get familiar with campaigns, but Pardot is much more robust. Again, we have our custom report types that are going to pull all of your asset engagement. And remember, well, you might remember, you might not know. So Pardot's assets, so forms and landing pages and emails, they have to be tied to a campaign. You can't create an asset if it's not tied to a campaign. So all of the information and the engagement of who opened, who clicked, where they're from, what their name, all that stuff, that flows into the campaign object. So from that aspect, you're going to get so much more information from Pardot versus Active Campaign, because you're going to have those custom report types inside of Salesforce. And then you can mix and match, right? You can pull in sales data to that campaign. You can pull in campaign influence. You have your out of the box attribution models, first touch, last touch, even touch. There's a lot of little extra bells and whistles that Pardot's going to give you that you're not going to get in another tool. We have another one here. Just want to ask, how does marketing automation help improve the quality of leads? Excellent question. So initially, you're just going to probably accept everything that flows in the door because you're excited. Let's just get it in. Let's see what we're doing. But then you're going to do one of two things. Actually, you'll probably do both. The first is you're going to start to be able to segment and create criteria. So I want to segment the people, like if we just focus on net new, I want to segment the people that come in by asking them particular questions, either on my forms or, through a chat experience. I'm going to flow that information into Pardot, and based on that information, they're going to get specific content. They're going to get pushed to sales, or they're not going to get pushed to sales, right? So that process is really important, and one I think you should focus on first. The second piece of that is to bring in an enrichment tool. So again, bringing in another tool in the tech stack, it can sit between your website and Pardot. It can sit between Pardot and Salesforce. Again, you guys are IT. You get to make those decisions and build this beautiful journey of products. And those enrichment services are going to allow you to maybe ask a few less questions and enrich or understand where they're coming from right away, to make sure that you can kind of start to sift through some of the crappy leads that are coming in, or the bots and things like that. I'm going to grab this link quick too that I promised before. Thank you guys for going over. Sorry about that. I just realized I've been yapping. I've put my link in the presentation. I know it's not a ton of information, but you guys are more than welcome to take a look. Again, connect with me. But it's just been such a pleasure chatting with you guys. And is there any other questions that you guys have? Do you guys understand why you are now so important to this equation?
No worries. And thank you so much, Jen, for that very wonderful presentation. It's really inspiring to hear your journey towards to where you are right now, and hopefully, once the pandemic is over, we can also achieve what you have achieved so far, and soon probably we'll be able to join our first ever Dreamforce event as well. Anyway, we were looking forward to meeting or having you again onto our future um, virtual meetings, or hopefully, if once everything is back to normal, we can still invite you over to have a presentation on one of our on-site or meetings or
Would
events.
love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you all so much.
Thank you again, Jen. And all right, so before we proceed, or sorry, before we end the meeting for today, we're gonna have a little bit of game. So let me just quickly present again my screen. Right, so we'll be using Kahoot, so you can install Kahoot onto your computer, or if you have it on your mobile phone. Four vouchers will be given out. So after the game, please send me your emails. All right, so Erwin will be the one to uh, facilitate the games. I'll stop sharing.
All right. Let me just close this here. And while I'm setting up this game, I just would like to thank you, Jen, again for gracing this meeting. I have with me here in my living room a visual indicator of how good your talk was. My wife, who used to work in a big media and publishing company here in the Philippines, was saying that her boss should be listening to you. It's that good. So, thank you for doing that. Now, also, huh. And if you can notice, I'm ad libbing because Kahoot is not cooperating. Also, I'd like to invite you guys to. I'm sending a link on the chat section of the Google Meet. We'll be having Marco again. Lingaro will have a separate event. Marco will be talking again more extensively on the increasing value of marketing. So the tiny URLs in the chat. So please do click on that chat and register. And let me just bring up Kahoot again. I've always been a contestant, but not the game master of Kahoot. All right,
So
everyone,
fun.
you see the game pin? If you've got your Kahoot up on your browser or on your mobile app, key that in, and we're waiting for you. I see
All right,
David Manuel.
sorry, a reminder again to please use your full name because that's the one that we're gonna be using for the vouchers.
All right, full names, guys. And we heard a lot of very interesting insights from both Marco and Jen tonight. And I wanted to make a quiz out of it, but I decided to make it easy. So it'll be very, very easy, guys. And we've got vouchers.
All right, I think yeah, I think we can proceed.
All right. All right. Here we go. I told you very difficult questions here.
It's
All
really
right.
just a speed game right now.
Speed game, really. All right. All right. Those who were paying attention, very difficult question here. Aha, a mix up, a mix up. All right. Charm, good job. All right. Which of the following is not an out of the box Salesforce opportunity stage? We're talking about out of the box. Jen repeated. All right. Great, great. I just remember Jen saying, please do not create custom objects. All right. Which option shows the correct order? Uh, this you need a little more time. Three answers. Aha! Aha! A trick question there. All right. Let's see. I think we've got one last question. Come on, come on. Aha! Some people got tricked, but yep, it's Pardot life hacks. So let's check this and let's check the podium. Joanna, Charm, don't tell me. Come on,
Give
Glenn.
it to me. Yes.
Nice one, Glenn. All right. Well,
Nice.
uh, we will
Alright.
be.
Nice one, Sir Glenn.
Nice one, nice one. So we do have more than three uh,
Nice,
things to
nice.
give away. So we'll also be considering uh, those who were runners up. Ash would take care of that. And again, everyone, thank you. Thank you very much for joining. Jen, thank you very much for gracing our very first event. Um, I can't thank you enough. And everyone, thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you again soon, either virtually or in person. Please join the Pardot group. We've got our socials there. And if you haven't joined the Pardot community group yet, please do join us so that you'd be updated on our next events. So that's it for me, Ash. Any closing words?
Alright, again, please join our social media accounts. So we do have SF Philippines Facebook group, LinkedIn, and Twitter. If you do have any questions, you can directly reach out to us on our social media accounts. Also, we'll be posting our future events. And we hope to see you on our upcoming events as well. Um, we'll deep dive into more into Pardot and how we can use Pardot in our everyday work life. Um, all right, again, with regards to the winners, please send me your emails and or you can reach out to me or to Erwin um, through Facebook or LinkedIn, and we'll send you the links or the voucher codes that you could use for you could use it for sorry, there's a feedback. Um, okay, you could use it to register for any certifications. I believe it's $200 certification voucher. So if you want to have additional certifications, you can use that one. And again, thank you so much again for joining our meeting today, and we look forward on seeing you again.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jen.